Hi, I'm Becky Streepy from Glue and Glitter, and today we're gonna air fry some sweet potatoes. Y'all, I love making sweet potatoes in the air fryer. It takes half the time that it takes in the oven, but they still come out nice and tender and a little bit crispy on the outside. It is just a dream. The other thing that I love about this recipe is that it's super flexible. For example, you'll see in the video that I did not peel my sweet potato. I like the way that the peels add a little bit of extra texture to the finished product, but if sweet potato peels aren't your thing, feel free to peel before you start cooking. You'll see in the recipe that I'm using olive oil, but you could also use toasted sesame oil or coconut oil to give it a little bit of a different flavor. If you don't do oil, you can replace it with maple syrup instead. You can also mix up the seasonings. I'm using chili powder here, but you could go with cumin and coriander. You could use curry powder. Sage is really nice on these, or rosemary, and you can mix up the acids. I'm using lime juice here, but lime juice has a very distinct flavor. It goes great with the chili powder, but for some of these seasonings, like if you're gonna use sage or rosemary, I would go with lemon juice instead. You can also keep it super simple and just go with the lemon juice, salt, and oil. Once you've figured out your flavorings, it's time to cook. Start by grabbing your sweet potato, you can peel it or not, and then dice it into 1-inch pieces. It is really important that you have uniform pieces because otherwise they won't cook uniformly. What you don't want is to have big chunks that are still hard in the middle and then little chunks that are totally burnt. Now it's time to season. Now, of course, you can do whatever seasonings you like. I'm just gonna list the ones that I'm adding here, but feel free to mix and match to suit your own tastes. So start with 1½ teaspoons of olive oil, then add a teaspoon of lemon juice or lime juice. Here I'm adding lime juice. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and then you can do up to a teaspoon of seasonings of your choice. In this case, I'm just doing a teaspoon of chili powder. Then just toss those all together in your bowl so that the sweet potatoes get nice and evenly coated, and transfer them to your air fryer basket. You're gonna air fry these for 15 to 20 minutes. That's really going to depend on a lot of things. Did you use a ruler to measure your sweet potato pieces? Probably not. Bigger pieces might need a little longer to cook. It also is going to depend on your specific air fryer. Some air fryers just cook faster. A bigger air fryer is also going to cook faster. These took 15 minutes in my 6-quart air fryer, but if you have like a 2-quart, it might take a little bit longer. What I recommend is for that last 5 minutes, just check on it every 2 minutes or so to see if they're fork tender, because you want to make sure that these are nice and cooked, but you don't want to burn them. Once they are fork tender, they're ready to serve. These make a great side dish. I also love to stuff them into tacos or into a burrito. Pretty much anywhere that roasted sweet potato would work well, so would air fryer sweet potato. I hope that this video answered all of your questions about how to make sweet potatoes in your air fryer. If you have any questions that I didn't address in the video, feel free to drop a comment. I'm always happy to help. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. Happy cooking!